So there is one thing that will make every difficult conversation more difficult. And it's one thing that you can actually avoid doing that would make your conversations better. But yet, over and over again, the majority of people will fall into this trap, falling into this well-worn groove, because it actually starts back when we're kids, maybe even before that. But it's this well-worn groove and this behavior and pattern that escalates every difficult conversation. And here's the thing, you can avoid it. You can train yourself out of this behavior, but it will take some work. It will take some effort, and it will take some reprogramming on your part. But there's good news. So let's talk about what it is. What is that one thing that almost everybody does inside of a difficult conversation? Unless, of course, they've had some significant training on how to not do it. The one thing is blame. And you think about it, right? From the time that you were sitting in the back seat and it's like your brother or your sister hit you and your parents turn around and go, "Stop it." And you say, "Well, but he did it first. She did it first. They called me a name." You know, there's this constant need to put blame. We have this desire to not be the ones at fault because we've learned through conditioning that being at fault means that we get punished. We get the discipline. We get the spanking if you grew up in that era. And that conditioning is played out again and again as adults in conversations that we have. We have this natural desire to not be the ones at fault, to not be the ones, to be the ones being blamed. We want to blame other people first. But the thing is that the moment that you blame somebody, what happens? They have to go into this defensive mechanism. They have to defend themselves. And once somebody is in the defensive mode, they can't hear you. They can't hear the point that you're actually trying to make. So the minute that you blame someone is the minute that you shut down a conversation, you put up their defenses, you put them into angry mode, and they can't hear you. So you're not going to facilitate a change. You're going to create an argument. And it's natural, right? We did it. We did it as kids. We blamed our siblings. We blamed the school system. We blamed who else, anybody we could find, the cat, the dog, anybody but us. And here's the thing, we need to condition ourselves to get out of that mode of placing blame. It doesn't mean that we have to take the blame. It means that we start moving that conversation outside of a blame situation. And by diffusing it in a way that's authentic, you can actually facilitate a conversation along so that people they move from like angry clients to raving fans, or, you know, a really bad employee to one who becomes your stellar best performer. It's about navigating the conversation in a way that facilitates change. Now, you need to change what's going on inside so that you're okay with being wrong. And when you're okay with being wrong, then you don't need to place the blame on somebody else. And when you don't have a need to be right, you don't need to put the blame on somebody else. And it becomes about, okay, so here's what's happened. Here's what went wrong. How do we make sure that this doesn't happen again? As opposed to, you fucked up, and how do we make sure it doesn't happen again, right? This is a very different situation. It's like, okay, this went wrong. I'm sure we both contributed to this, because that's always the truth. We both contributed to this. Now, can we talk about how we make sure that we don't do it again? Can we talk about how do we transition through to a better outcome in the future? That's a way of engaging the conversation so that you get the outcome that you desire. Okay, that's your nugget for today. Feel free to post in the comments below what your difficult conversation is and how you are going to shift out of pointing the finger and into opening up the conversation to moving forward, creating change. I would love to hear more from you.